This is the boat we're going on. Discovery 3, I guess it is. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. 1, 2, 4 levels maybe. Lots of seats, mostly inside. There's the upper deck.
Blueberry donut and complimentary.
It's actually really good. So we took the first floor because we wanted a window seat.
You basically just cut the engine and still coasted to a stop over here.
A bush plane just landed right beside the boat.
Folks, Rob is going to be taxiing out behind us and doing a takeoff for us this morning. Coming in from the same direction that he landed in. Now, I want to point out, I call that a very lightweight plane. When I say that, I mean it. The whole thing only weighs about 100 pounds.
It was set up so that the pilot could actually talk to us.
But it's really fun to also be able to introduce you to our kennel, the surroundings here.
Susan Butcher's husband.
Or in the wintertime, it freezes 4 feet thick, so we can put trails anywhere we want to go in this northern part of Alaska. But also in the summertime, as you can see, it's a perfect place to raise puppies. Any day you can be doing that, it's always a great day.
Well, Dave, I cannot help but agree with you. And it looks like you've got 2 different batches of puppies here. Look at these small ones, though, and you've told me that this is all part of the training process. How can you train it?
Well, you know, what we want to do is we call the trust to be trusted in their instincts and guidance, of course, but when they're home, they trust in our care and abilities to be able to provide a safe environment. So it's important that we work together, and the day we start that relationship is the day they're born, which we do, as you can see, by picking them up and holding them in our hands, even though their eyes weren't open. Even yesterday, they weren't open yet. They can know who we are because they can associate the sense of comfort and security when we hold them, but they associate it with us, and even though their eyes aren't open, they have a highly developed sense of smell, so when you breathe across their nose, they know who you are. So by the time their eyes open and they can run around a little bit like this guy's doing, they already know us, trust us, and want to follow us on adventures, which gives us a perfect opportunity to help them develop their self-confidence. Guys, is like any parent wants for their kids, and that is for them to use every success they have as a stepping stones or building block for their next success. So of course, after they bond with us, develop self-confidence, and feel comfortable running around this whole area, that's when we introduce them to the older dogs here, because those dogs will serve as their mentors as they're learning how to be great sled dogs. But again, it doesn't start right away. It's incremental. And the first thing you'll do is take them all on a walk. Now the older dogs, of course, will run confidently out in front, and the puppies will naturally chase after them and copy what the older dogs do for a successful run. But the final thing we want to see is what you're seeing right now, and that's the instinct pull, which is the love that they have to run as part of a team to get down the trail. But as we add dogs, as you might notice, we're adding power. So I modified this four-wheeler in a couple ways to deal with it. Number one, I've removed the engine. There's nothing but dogs to go forward, and I have plenty of that. Two, I've reinforced the brakes for control, but safety's everything. So I've tied this off, as you see back here, to an anchor. And when we're ready, I'm going to take off, and I'll give you a call on the radio and tell you how it's going on the trail.
It's just a shame that I'm more excited about this. All right, here's the command, and away they go. Great things as long as you take good care of them. Now keep your eyes peeled to the far end of the lake here, the base of those tall trees. The rest of the trail cuts right across, and if you don't have a good view, eyes up.
Here we are across the water. I hope you can watch us because we are flying along. The temperature's cooled off. The guys are loving it. And so we're going about 20 miles an hour, which is remarkable when you consider there's only 7 dogs. The four-wheeler
The dogs are really booking it. Just kind of hope those brakes hold this morning. All right, we skid to a stop, but another fantastic run from Dave Monson.
Every dog has to be out of the head, and then just like us, they all love to play.
Yeah, I guess even on a chilly day like today, they just want to hop in a gym class and cool off in the shower.
You're not going to see me jumping in there, I'll tell you that.
No, probably not drinking the water either, but we'll leave that to them. Now, Dave, I do want to take a couple minutes to talk with everyone about this fantastic book that you and Susan wrote together. And what I'm really hoping for is when we see you down at the Chena Village later on, if somebody has a copy of that and would like for you to sign it or maybe make an inscription, could you do that for them?
Well, absolutely.
Right here. Old house, new house,
That is
big
an
block
airboat.
cabin, small frame home, but that's kind of what you came up here for, isn't it? This is Alaska. It's the land of the rugged individualist. And you can all keep your homeowner associations to yourselves. Thank you very much.
To provide for our families and
It's a
dogs
fish
throughout
wheel.
winter months. Back on shore
They
is
get
our
salmon.
canvas wall tents, and that's where we stay each summer. Next to it is our air drying rack, and that's where we hang our salmon before it goes into the smokehouse. Now the smokehouse is that large structure you see behind me. It is key to turning the salmon into a fully preserved food source. And after it's done smoking, we store in the cache, which is the structure up on stilts. And it's up on stilts to keep the animals from getting into it. And speaking of animals, the boxes you see over there between the tents are where the dogs would stay each summer. And we always bring dogs to fish camp because they act as a natural alarm system.
So they
Right, because you
hang
definitely
it,
don't want a bear or a
dry
fox
it,
sneaking in, taking all of your hard
then it
work.
goes over there and
And
smokes.
speaking of work, Delanna, I can see you've done
And then
quite a
that's
bit on
where
that
they
salmon
store
in
it.
front of you. Can you tell us about that fish and how you've prepared it so far?
Now, so like I said, this is the king of salmon. Here in the interior, we get 3 types of salmon. A single run of the king and silver, and 2 runs of the chum. And since the chum is a slightly lesser quality salmon, we usually reserve that for the dogs. And further dehydrating it.
Okay, I can see on the ones opening up how it opens up kind of like a vent to let the smoke in there. And folks, I will say this is a pretty delicate process. You know, you have to cut deep enough to dehydrate it properly. You don't want rot or mold to
We had 3 tour stops in the village once the boat docked, and each part was really interesting. These are reindeer. Both the female and the male have antlers.
Poor guy's bleeding. Yeah, it is. Right here. It's on his horns. He's probably rubbing them. That big guy. Look at that big guy there. Punk.
The bark from the birch tree is
From the
pliable
birch tree.
and water resistant, so it can be used
That's
to
what they
make
use
things
as
such
after
as
fires.
birch bark.
Was the second stop, and it went over the clothing that they wore.
Would you folks like a demonstration? Yes. Mason?
Here, Moosey.
Thank you.
This is an Athabascan, Yukon-style woman's winter parka. And it's all traditional. Except for that giant zipper down the middle. That's just there so we can get it off and on quick during these hot summer days. Traditionally, it would be sewn together as a pullover-style parka. The main body of this parka is made of beaver, which has been sheared for design. It is also trimmed with calfskin, river otter, and timber wolf. And now, Annette is showing us a sunshine ruff. The outer part of the ruff is made of timber wolf, and the inner part is made of wolverine. Wolverine was always sewn closest to the face because there's natural oils in the fur that help prevent frostbite. And then any leftover pieces after making the parka would be sewn on with these tassels, which are wolverine tipped with timber wolf. Annette would sew these onto her parka just to show that her family are excellent trappers and they caught that tricky wolverine. And now she's turning around to show us some of the designs on the back of the parka. Beadwork and skin sewing techniques were passed down from generation to generation, and each family had their own unique design. For example, the artist that made this piece is from Fort Yukon, and that's her family's traditional wild rose pattern. If an Athabascan woman were to travel to another village, they would often be able to tell where she's from just by that design on the back of her parka.
This was the last stop on the village, and here they went over the different types of furs.
There to greet us. 98 years young. And I will add, still very much on the clock. Because she's not just here to wave, she's also scoping it out, making sure the windows are clean, the paint looks good, and I'm not messing up any of my facts. Wife, partner, and best friend, and the last of the great steamboat captains. I will say.
We just got back from the Riverboat Discovery Cruise down the Chena, and there's another river, but the Chena River basically cruise. It was really nice. We enjoyed ourselves a lot. The boat itself has a staged landing of a bush plane, which was really cool on the water, and it landed and took off in front of us. They stopped by an Indian village. They showed us a lot of their crafts and how they made their furs and things like that. It stopped by a guy who raised dogs, mushing dogs, which was really cool. We got to see those. And everything was put on really professionally. They had a really nice gift shop at the end, and the prices were reasonable. A t-shirt was $16, magnet for $2, postcards for $1, things like that. So it was really nice, and we really enjoyed ourselves on this cruise. There was a lot of cruise ship boat or buses there at the where it took off from. There was 3 from Norwegian and 1 from Princess. So it's a popular thing to do here in this area. Anyway, we just wanted to give you an update. We're done with the cruise, and we really enjoyed it, and if we ever came back in this way, we would do it again. So thanks for watching our video of the cruise, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that thumbs up button. Thanks for watching.